Yeah, it's been a while. Been quite a while, hasn't it? Not without good reason. First of all, sorry if it has been a while. Apologies for that. There are good reasons. I'll tell you those probably in another video. But this is just a quick video to say the project isn't dead. It's still coming back. In fact, the brewery is still here. And this year, it is going to happen. We're now in a place where we can get things done. And since the last video, as of yesterday, we've now added a little bit more to the brewery. There's been a whole lot more stuff going on in the background. A couple of failed tap rooms, which I will go through in detail. Planning procedure, applications, listed building status, all that stuff. Trust me, if you ever get into that, it's a bit of a headache. But we'll cover that in detail later on. So things haven't been dead, things have been happening in the background. But as I said, I'll cover that in another video. But let me show you what I picked up yesterday to go with the brewery. So I took a little drive over to Newark and I picked up can't quite see them properly in this light. Let me just go and open the side door. So I've picked up 3 240 litre Speedle fermenters to go with an already 400 litre fermenter. And I also picked up, which is a bonus find, an Ibarra brew pump and a collection of immersion heaters and some shives ready for when we start casking. So with these 3 fermenters and the 400 litre I've got and the 2 Blickmans, I've got over 1,000 litres of fermentable capacity. So it gives me quite a bit of flexibility to do what I want. So the plan is this year to get this brewery up and running. The company's been registered. We're going through AWRS, we're going through the HMRC applications. Anglia Water has been contacted. Everything else is in place. Local trade outlets have been contacted. We're getting replies back. So yeah, this spring, summer, it's going to kick off. Things we're going to do in the brewery here. At the back end of the wall, as you can see, there's a single door. I've managed to find myself a set of French doors, so that door's going to come out. And we're going to put a set of glazed French doors in, which will help throw a lot of light into the brewery. And also, it'll allow us to move the kit out the back and out the front. It gives a bit more flexibility, because we'll probably do some of the cleaning and some of the casking in the space out the back. Or at least some of the cask cleaning. The other thing that's going to happen is we're going to put a floor drain in here. And now we were going to run that out into the foul drain that runs along the back of the house. But having chatted with the guys that came and quoted for that, another alternative, given that it's not going to be in constant use, it's only going to be used really when we're cleaning. What we're actually going to do is going to put in a sump drain. So we've got ourselves a bucket, well, a deep bucket, and we've got ourselves a sump pump, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a floor drain in, an echo drain, with a deep sump at the end, and then an automatic sump pump connected into the drains outlet already here in the garage. So that means we don't have to go digging up the whole of the back garden. And like I said, it's only there really to take the waste cleaning fluid, maybe a few bits of solids from a brew day, but nothing major, and it's not going to be in constant use. So that will allow me to clean the floor down, hose the floor down, clean the brew kit, not worry too much about making a mess, as I know I'll be able to tidy it up later. We're still, as you can see, a bit cramped for space, so I've got to try and find a couple of things to do in terms of making space. One is I'm going to remove that table there and put that into the shed out the back, which will be the general store. I also may put a cold room in there. I think I've mentioned that before. We're going to keep the sink unit in here because that's going to be handy. And the 2 Blickmans, I might keep them or I might sell them. So if anybody's after a couple of 27-gallon Blickmans with cooling chillers inside, temp probes inside, and a heating jacket, let me know, because I might be willing to get rid of them, because I'm not sure I'm going to have the space to have all this kit in here. It's a bit of a squeeze as it is. So that's kind of it for now. Like I say, I'm sorry it's been a while since I've been back, but there are good reasons. I will explain those in due course. I haven't been to prison or anything like that. It's just medical stuff. But I'll fill you in on that in due course. It's not really that interesting. I don't really want to go into too much detail, but I'll just give you an overview. But the news is that it's going to happen this year. We're going to go through the process. I've had some great input from Derek at the brewery. He's setting up in sorry, Derek, I can't remember the pronunciation of it, but I'm sure you've all seen his YouTube. And Rob Miller, again, who's setting up himself. He's provided some great help. So we're going to push on forward and get this whole project done, and hopefully start brewing in a couple of months' time, all being well, providing we get all the permissions through. Watch this space. Bye bye. So there they are. They're in. They're a bit bigger than you expect, taller in that respect. It took me a couple of goes getting them all pushed all the way in so I can close the front door, which incidentally is going to get changed to side hinge doors because I need the headroom. That up and over door, it's a killer. I just can't get any headroom in there, so everything has to be stacked at one end above a certain height, which isn't ideal. So that's going to get changed to a set of side hinge doors, which will allow me to have access to the full height in there because I need it. I just can't cope without it. And the other decision I've come to now, having got them in there and looked at the available space I've got, is those 2 Blickman fermenters. They're going to go, so I'm selling those. I'll put them on eBay. But if anybody's interested that's watching this, if you want them, they're mint condition. They've got heating jackets on, silicone heat jackets in there. They've got a cooling coil inside, a long temperature probe coming down from the detachable lid. Got the seals for them, got the clamps for them, got all the valves on there. So send me a message if they're of interest to you. Otherwise, I'm going to put them on eBay and see if I can move them on. I'm sure somebody will find a use for them. Somebody out there with a pilot kit or who wants to do a slightly bigger brew in their home brew. They're great little bits of kit. Yeah, please come and take them off my hands. The other thing I forgot to mention when I picked these fermenters up, and this is probably more for you, Derek, at Breffner Gale, because I know that you've got a few of these. When I picked these up, the guy was using these. Don't know if you can see that. This is a 300 watt, 220 volt aquarium heater, and he was using these inside the tank. He'd modified the bung that goes in the top for the airlock to drop one of these through, and each one of these fermenters had one of these in, and he said it worked a treat. I don't know about this. I kind of got a few reservations about putting anything like this inside the beer when it's fermenting, but you know, if it's properly cleaned and it's sanitized, it might be doable. So I might give it a try. Let's see what happens. It certainly is an option. And if it doesn't work, I can always go to putting a heating jacket around the outside. And I'll probably end up putting something like a foil jacket or a neoprene jacket on the outside at some point when I get around to it. Because there's a whole host of jobs I've got to do in here before I start brewing. I've already mentioned the drains, which will get done, but I need to refurbish some of the tanks. I mean, those fermenters I've just picked up, they need a damn good clean inside. It's clearly been a while since they've been cleaned. And there's all kinds of debris and stuff in there. There's some krausen still stuck to the inside around the tops. So I think they're going to have to get nuked several times to get them to a point where I feel safe enough that there's nothing in there and I can use them. So yeah, watch this space. There'll be more coming soon. Going to get straight back into it. I've got somebody coming in a week or so to hopefully put those French doors in for me. I'm going to try and track down some garage doors for the front, and I'll fit those. I'll put that in as a vid as well. Luckily, the frame on these doors I don't need to modify, because I can get a set of doors that fit perfectly, and that's a nice solid frame in there, so I can literally just put some extra batten work in, and just drop the doors straight in, just put them straight on there, easy as pie. So that's going to get done, and then we'll get going. So catch you later. Bye bye.